As Abraham Lincoln said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." Referencing. Throughout the book, I've referenced studies. If you wish to know more about these, you'll find a file that goes with this audio download giving you more information. Many of these links to other studies when discussing certain claims or topics. This is handy for anyone who wants to go down the rabbit hole of any relevant data that's been collated. I have also provided a further reading list in the same file, which I strongly recommend getting on top of. The fitness industry right now. There are industries all over the world designed to give consumers what they want or need for an easier or better life. For instance, the automotive industry allows us to buy various transportation methods, such as cars, for commuting or transporting the family around. It's an industry that serves a purpose, and even though consumers are aware that there is a markup on goods, they don't mind because they are getting a solution to their transportation problem. For the price they pay, they gain freedom, control, and enjoyment, and they generally trust the provider, a win-win situation. This fairly straightforward analogy highlights the problem with the fitness industry. People are more desperate than ever for a solution to their health and fitness problems, but they're being misled and missold the dream by organizations profiteering from the consumer remaining in the dark about how to help themselves, especially when it comes to fat loss. The fitness industry should be about showing people what the human body can accomplish. It should be there to motivate the sedentary to get more from their bodies, the one shell they spend their entire lives in. Imagine if you knew you could only have one car for the rest of your life. Would you take better care of it? That should be the message to send people to inspire them when they're not sure about whether to train or not. When people have a health scare or see a photo of themselves that deflates and depresses them, they should have the fitness industry to turn to for salvation. Gyms should be full of motivated members with experienced trainers at their disposal to provide guidance and expertise, making them feel incredibly comfortable during their first ever gym experience and beyond. There should be dietitians advising on specialist nutritional needs, and there should be a plethora of accurate scientific and evidence-based guidelines to follow, so that as new discoveries are made in the field of nutrition and training, the consumer can make small adjustments to ensure they get the most out of their time in the gym and outside of it. It'd be nice for government recommendations to be more helpful too. Isn't it funny that different nations have different guidelines for their populations, although they share a common obesity issue? Diet fads should be laughed at by consumers who fully understand the mechanisms behind fat loss. No thanks should be the answer to anyone trying to promote celery juice cleanses and cabbage soup diets, and those selling aloe vera, formerly Aftersun, as a solution to fat loss. Each and every one of us should know roughly how much we need to eat to remain in shape. We should have a vague idea of our daily calorie needs. We should all dip in and out of tracking our food in periods when we gain a bit of weight and enjoy not restricting when we're seeking compositional change. Weight gain will not be scrutinized or demonized because we will know how to lose the weight we have gained. We should be able to pick up an item of food and consider its caloric value and the weight it has against our intake so that we can play around social occasions in the same way that we might with our finances. So it should work in the same way that it does when you pick up a designer watch or handbag. Your brain being able to budget whether or not you can afford it based on your payslip and upcoming bills. By no means should it be like The Matrix, where someone picks up a potato and sees binary code dictating whether or not they should consume it that day, but the frontal lobe of anyone's brain should at least be able to make a close estimate of how much they are eating each day and the decisions they need to make if they don't want to exceed their appropriate calorie intake. This is not obsessive, it's calculative. However, if this was already the case throughout the fitness industry, I wouldn't be writing this book. Unfortunately, the current state of the fitness industry is a far cry from my utopian description. It's in dire straits, and the worst thing is that the extent of the problem, I believe, is not fully known by the general public, many of whom are handing over large percentages of their disposable income to expensive gym memberships, diet plans, supplements, unsustainable diet fads, and miracle fat loss drinks. Doctors, lawyers, and in fact, people in most professions can face legal repercussions for what could be deemed as bad advice, or even malpractice. However, there is very little regulation within the fitness industry. No repercussions for influencers misleading someone or giving terrible advice. This has made it a free-for-all for experts on social media, their blue-tick gravitas making it easy to mass-market poor information, leaving the people who need help the most further disheartened, frustrated, and unsure where to turn for good advice. As I record this, no qualifications are required to promote supplements, diets, or even injectable fat loss solutions on social media to an audience that could easily include young, impressionable teenagers as well as